The San Francisco 49ers have a chance of doing something they haven't done since 2011. And I think Kyle Shanahan trusts Brock Purdy. What do you think? I don't know, but we're going to talk about it with a special guest right here on the WayneBreezie Show.
Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Breezy this, breezy that. Ain't nobody working like Breezy, and that's a fact. Overmotivated is an understatement. Gold-blooded to the core, got your squad hating. Breezy make it look easy. Breezy on everything like 05067 Weezy. This is not a gang. Yeah, we faithful in every way. And even though we on the East Coast, very loyal to the Bay. Heavy red and gold every day. And if you really a Niner fan, I know you can relate. Applying pressure with this content like Smaller Bear. We not accepting no slander about Trey, so beware. I stay in exclusively Niner hats. And I always tell the truth, this exclusively Niner facts. Breezy this, breezy that. They know I'm gold-blooded. I got the Niners on my back, you know. Yeah. Breezy this.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy WayneBreezie, live and direct from Seattle, Washington. I'm on the rooftops of Seattle right now, and the sun is finally, I think I see the sun, right? The sky is going to turn, the sky is blue, but I'm sure it's going to get light gray at some point today. But it's kind of beautiful out here. 49ers _ throwback. Yes, I did. Listen, look, yo, appreciate you, bro, but my timings be off. I thought I had the time zone change down pat. It's 11 a.m. and I'm thinking it's just 3 hours off. I knew that, but I went 3 hours the wrong way. My bad. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's just my bad. But shout out to someone that hit me up and say, "Hey, Breezy, man, it's 8 o'clock." And I'm like, okay, what that mean? You meant 8 o'clock, you know. So hey, we here. That's the only thing that matters. But shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Shout out to all of our the subscribers to the channel. Shout out to all the members of the channel. Miss Debbie is here. She says, "Good morning, Wayne. Blessings to all the faithful joining the show this morning. Appreciate you guys. I wanted to bring you a show live from where I am. And I got to continue to do that. I got here a day early. I'm going to be meeting my son a little bit later. Can you guys hear me cool? Because my headphones is bugging out. I don't really hear nothing in the headphones for some strange reason. But I hope you guys can hear me cool. Shout out to Christy Marie. She's out there. She's been in there. Peachy's in the building early in the morning. What's going on, everybody? Hey, Jim. Nah, man. This ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. Baker Mayfield, player of the week. Jim, I know it's tough being a Rams fan right now, but you know, it is what it is. Hey, Ty, you better text me after this show. I'm supposed to be the first person rocking one of them t-shirts, but shout out to your I love it. I saw the t-shirt online. I'm like, what? Where the Breezy joint? Listen, man, we gonna link up, man. I'm mad at you, but we gonna link up. No, I'm just playing. I love you, bro. Perk Dog's in the building. Raphael, what's going on? Everybody, Maui, I see you. Hey, look, let's get this show started. Now, listen, I gotta bring on my man, and I see him out here in the chat too. That's so dope. But I hit him up because we've been trying to figure out ways we could connect and he could jump on the show. You want to talk about one of the most positive 49er content creators, or just one of the most positive people like just in the world. You know what I'm saying? You have to know, because we have private chats that go on. And I mean, he starts every morning off with positivity. I could be having a bad morning, ready to go out and do something crazy. I'll read his message and my morning is just that much greater. It needs to be in the morning, because the morning post, what you say in the morning, really determines how your day how your day goes. All right. And so I got to bring this guy on, longtime faithful. He writes, he's a content creator. He has his own show right now. I can't wait till I can grace his show with my presence. Hopefully it'll be soon. But ladies and gentlemen, I don't have my sound effects because I didn't bring it. It was an extra thing to carry. But from now on, I'm bringing my damn sound effects. But ladies and gentlemen, y'all stand up and give a round of applause to the one and only, my man, Ted H. What's going on, baby?
Not much, Breezy. Thanks for having me on. This is a dream come true. Yeah, we've been trying to figure out a way to get this going, and I'm glad we got it going this morning. Sorry that the timing was a little off for you, but it seems like people are catching up, so that's good.
It's good.
Just excited to be here and chop it up with you a little bit, talk a little bit of whatever you want to talk. It's your show, so let me know.
Yeah,
and
we're gonna talk about this game. We're gonna talk about Brock Purdy, man. I think it's time to give Brock some real good attention right now, because I don't necessarily care about the future of what the 49ers are going to do with Brock. I mean, he's a rookie, he's here. But let's talk about the right now and what he can do for the 49ers right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, he beat the Dolphins and he beat the Tom Brady and the Bucks. So there's a lot to like. He's exciting, he's mobile, he's accurate, he's tough. If I'm going to detract one thing, that's maybe my one little worry is that he's maybe a little too tough. He's not a really big guy. He's about 6 foot and about a half inch and about 220. I just want to see him. We need him, right? We need him the rest of the way out, unless somehow Trey Lance comes back, which they keep saying he won't. We need him. We need him down the stretch here and through the playoffs, and hopefully through a deep playoff run. So I hope he can just protect himself, because our offensive line is good, but they give up some pressures here and there.
Yeah. I mean, and even in when we were watching the last game against the Buccaneers, you know what I mean? He kind of checked himself into that hit. You know what I'm saying? It's sometimes when you don't feel well, you go check yourself into the hospital. Well, he changed the play call, and he knew there wasn't going to be protection. So he needed to get the ball out quicker than quick. And unfortunately, he didn't. Luckily, he held onto the ball, and luckily we got the penalty. But unluckily, we got to talk about his oblique injury, and he has been listed day to day. Okay, and that's cool. Do you think this oblique injury, Ted, is going to affect his ability to perform well tomorrow night?
I think it'll have a little effect for sure. You look at Brock Purdy, he's got these really big thighs, these big quads. I think people called him Baby Bosa a little bit back in camp and preseason. And, good quarterbacks who have good footwork, a lot of the power for their throws comes actually from their legs up through their torso to their arms. And so the obliques are sort of like the side of your six pack. If you have a six pack, it's been a long time since them days for me, but, and a rib, obviously that's on the side too. So it'll cause pain when he throws, especially when he tries to throw deeper or harder. And pause. But
welcome to the show.
So I think it'll cause him a little difficulty, a little bit of pain. There was the one throw to Aiyuk, the TD throw, where he had a guy in his face. I said it was part of the reason why maybe he didn't get as much zip on the ball as we might like to see. And I think that oblique injury was already there. So those are two, people could say, haters might say those are excuses I'm making for Brock. But ultimately, those are facts and reasons, good, legitimate reasons why that ball might not have had quite as much oomph on it as it could in a different situation. So I'm just really excited for the kid. He seems like he's a great leader. Everything you hear about him is that he takes control of the pocket. He acts like he's been there, done that. And part of that is he has so much college experience. The one thing that Trey Lance lacks right now is experience. And so, I'm really excited about him. Do I think people are talking about, oh, well, do we need Trey anymore? I think that's a little far-fetched, especially when you look at the fact that they're if you look at their stats, they have similar stats, but Lance didn't have Kittle for most of his early stats, and he obviously didn't have any Christian McCaffrey. So I think Brock Purdy's had a little bit more weapons at his disposal to help him do that. But, they've both been pretty impressive starting out. And it's an exciting problem to have, of having two young quarterbacks, inexpensive quarterbacks, that maybe we may have a QB competition.
That's the key. I think the key word is inexpensive. And we don't talk about the logistics of the financial part of football, because the only time it matters is during free agency, right? When we got to spend money and, we can't hit the cap and, we can't do this. But we don't talk about like the fact that we traded up for Trey. It set us up to buy other pieces so that you can build around Trey and you don't have to pay him for a few years. Then you draft a quarterback in the 7th round who's going to be on contract for 3 years, right? Don't 7th round players get 3-year contracts as well? As long as you get drafted, you get the 3-year contract, right?
I think, or even 4 years. I'm not sure, honestly.
I know if it's 3 or 4.
I know Deebo in the 2nd round was 4 years. I'm not as sure with those late rounds. So
rounds. Either way, they're on contract for a couple of years, which means guess what? Unless the 49ers want to, they don't have to do anything with Brock Purdy's contract. And Brock Purdy will continue to go out there when he's asked to and play the style of football that he plays. We're going to get back to Brock Purdy in a minute, because that's what this show is all about. Let's talk about some of the logistics with the 49ers. They're playing Seattle this Thursday. A lot of things are coming up. First and foremost, we got to wish our head coach, Kyle Shanahan, a happy birthday. Happy birthday, Kyle. If you're watching, I know you don't watch a lot of stuff on social media, but you need to watch this one, because we're telling you and we're wishing you a very, very happy birthday. Hopefully he's out in Seattle getting the sun in right now. I feel like Seattle, if I would say, this would be the perfect place for like vampires, because there's never really any sunlight, and if they're day walkers, they can walk around all day. And then keep it up at night. I don't know if you've been to Seattle, but it's my first time here, so I'm like taking it all in. And the first thing I wanted to experience in Seattle, the first thing, you know where I went? I went to that market on Pike Street where they be tossing the fish and stuff. And so I get there, and the people just standing around. And I'm like, where the flying fish? I mean, I came 8,000 miles to see a flying fish. I wanted to see him catch it. I wanted to try to catch it myself. I got Jerry Rice hands. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to see if I could catch it. Nah, they was just looking at me like, man, this ain't the day. So I'm going to go back today, bro, and hopefully I can coerce them into tossing the fish. Have you ever got a chance to see that in real life?
No, they weren't throwing them when I was there either.
What is going on?
Yeah, I've been to Seattle a couple times. I remember the first time I went, it was like sunny and beautiful the first day. It was in the summertime. And I was like, oh my God, like this is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And then we were there like 4 more days and I never saw the sun the entire time. It rained, fog. It was just miserable. So I was like, oh, now I see why this is like the coffee capital of the world, because you'd have to have like 8 cups of Joe in the morning to get up and get moving there with no sunlight, right? I mean, you got to have something to get you moving in the morning. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. That's funny. But the only time I saw the sun was like when I was up in the clouds, and I was like, oh, it's beautiful. Like you see the mountains. And then when I got here, it was just like gray. It's like, okay, all right. I could dig it though. I could dig it. And it's funny because the hotel that I chose to stay at, I don't know what made me pick this hotel, but it's like I walk out and it's Fifth Avenue. I'm from New York. So if you know what Fifth Avenue is where you shop. And it's where all the designers shop. There's a Nike store, Louis Vuitton, blah, blah. I'm like, Lord knows I don't got no money, but I'm about to go shopping. I can't wait till today starts, man. Like, I'm just like, yes. Like, I'm a shopaholic, and I probably shouldn't do it. But there's a Nike store right across the street. Bro, I'm about to come back with some new red kicks, man. I can feel it.
And it's Christmas time, right? So
Christmas time. Travis King, what's going on, baby? We're gonna start our regular scheduled program when I get home, Trav. But nah, man, it's Christmas time. It's nice out here. But I'm here for one thing only, and that's for the 49ers to mud stomp the Seattle Seahawks. A lot of people call them the Sea Chickens. I'm going to respect them and call them the Seahawks until we beat them again. I don't know what's more important for me, Ted, but I want to beat them really bad in Seattle. How are you feeling about that? Like, I know you want the win, but I want the bad win.
No, yeah. I mean, nothing would make me happier than something like what we saw week 2. I think it might be closer though. I mean, Vegas thinks It's closer than some of our more recent games. 3.5-point spread.
But that's good for us, right? I'm not into spread, so you're gonna have to teach me. But
it's just basically, it's not saying that they think we'll win by 3.5. It's you have to give people 3.5 points for them to bet on Seattle to win straight. So it's not exactly saying that's what we think the score will be, but it just shows a general confidence that people have in a team to win. And so people think the Niners will win, but it doesn't seem like they think it'll be a blowout. The bettors. Want to call out Dion real quick. He posted.
Yep, I was gonna once we started talking about. I'll bring it up right now. Go ahead.
Cool. Yeah. So he answered our question about Purdy's contract, 4-year, almost $4 million. So as far as the game goes, people say, well, the Seahawks, they don't have a good run defense, and that's statistically that's true. I would say if they can get Al Woods back, which doesn't seem like he didn't practice yesterday, but he's a big run stuffer for them. Also, Shelby Harris was out in the Panthers game. He came over in the trade for Russ Wilson.
He hasn't practiced either.
He has an illness though, so that could clear up at any time. That's
Understood.
Not like an injury where any day he could just be back and on the team. And they're getting Kenneth Walker back, who is a big, huge a piece for them. Their rookie running back.
He didn't play in week 2, right? He did not play in week 2.
He did not play in week 2. He did not play against the Panthers. They had basically no running backs. I've talked to a couple of Seahawks content creators, one content creator and one fan that is a big fiction writer that I've been going back and forth with for years. And they were both, they both sort of felt like the Niners should win, but we all agreed maybe it might be a close game.
Absolutely.
It always seems like it's a special team something with them, whether it was Chase McLaughlin's missed field goal in 2019 or
about the one this year.
Yeah, right. No doubt. The block kick return was their only touchdown they scored against us this year. In 2021, they had the fake punt that they took for a touchdown. On top of that, both games against Seattle last year, we had fumbled kickoff returns, and I'm blanking on the guy's name right at the moment. Hightower was the special teams coordinator, but it was I'm blanking on the guy's name. He was a kick returner, and he fumbled in the early game where Jimmy got injured, and in the late game where they had the punt return. Both fumbled. So one led to a quick rush touchdown in the first game, and in the second game, we ended up on our goal line, and Jimmy took a safety after the fumbled kick return. So they cost us 7 and 2 points.
Was it?
And a safety is really more than 2 points because you lose the ball too. So
here's the funny thing. What's funny about everything that you just said, Ted, was you named over 5 times the special teams messed up. This cannot continue with the special teams. Now, here's what I would say. The 49ers special teams has been so much better because the depth, the starters came back, and then the regular special team players went back on the special teams. And then, what happened was starters were getting injured. You were pulling players off of special teams to play on the starting defenses, the starting offenses. Next thing you know, Schneider's special teams look like it's the worst in the league. You know what I'm saying? And then once players started getting healthy, all of a sudden those guys go back to their natural position on, where they belong on special teams, their role. And next thing you know, special teams, they're getting down there in coverage. They're making people fumble the ball. And here's the thing. We're going to be missing arguably our best special teams player, who happens to be a 5th round pick due to the concussion protocol. Samuel Womack won't play in this game. Will that be detrimental to the 49ers, bro? Or how detrimental will it be, is the question.
Absolutely, that will be detrimental, especially when you couple it with, Tarvarius Moore is out too. He's been a really great special teamer. And then, we brought up Dante Johnson to help out with defense and special teams, and he tore his ACL against the Bucs. So that's 3 special teamers that we're missing. And it's all about the horses. And, Brian Schneider is a really good coordinator. He was a really good special teams coordinator in Seattle, coincidentally. But they hate him there because towards the end, their special teams was awful. But I was talking to one of their super fans yesterday, and I was saying basically, they didn't have a great defense anymore to pull special teams players from. Like it's the same idea. Like, the LOB went away, their defense got weak, and all of a sudden they didn't have these great players to go down there and make these big tackles and great plays. So I think Brian Schneider is a really good coordinator, but yeah, you got to have the right players. Coach can only do so much without, like I say, the right horses, the right guys to get out there and make those plays. So yeah, it's a concern. Special teams is a concern. Another concern that I have is, I love Brock Purdy. I'm very pro Brock. Super excited about him, but he hasn't played outside of the friendly confines of Levi's yet. And, Lumen Field, or whatever they're calling it these days, is about as far from Levi's figuratively as you can get. It's a very hostile, loud place. One of the worst places to travel to as an opposing team, other than maybe, Arrowhead and Kansas City. And, and then he has no Deebo too. So, Deebo is a hell of a player. And even if he's not running the ball, him lining out wide causes attention that pulls defenders away from whoever's running the ball from the backfield. So, and then my other concern is defensive tackle. We've obviously lost Ridgeway and Givens in back-to-back weeks. Hyder looks like he might play, but we'll see. But I really hope Kerry Hyder can play, because he and Brock are the two question marks that I think we really need to be there.
Kerry Hyder with the ankle injury, and then Kevin Givens. Now, I didn't hear too much about his injury. Did they rule him out already, or?
Yeah, he has an MCL, so it's just
he has
like
an MCL. Okay,
yeah, he has an MCL, but it doesn't sound like, they're not saying like 6 to 8 weeks,
right?
Like normally they're sounding more like 5 or 6 or 4 to 6. It doesn't sound quite as serious, because we've had so many MCLs this season. It's been a while. It's sort of like 2022 MCL is like the 2020 high ankle sprain was for us almost. I mean, we had Willis went out with it. Obviously Elijah Mitchell twice with MCLs. Even
they were bad ones too. Like his were bad.
Even Colton McKivitz had an MCL. I'm sure there's a few I'm forgetting as well too, but it's been a very prevalent injury for us. But the big one obviously is Elijah Mitchell twice. That's just one, both knees. So yeah, and now Kevin Givens, but it sounds like his might be the least serious of the bunch, if we believe the reports, right, of what they're saying of when he should be back. So
yeah.
Well, actually, and I guess technically Deebo's an MCL, so he's the least, because they're saying 3-ish weeks for Deebo, which is
three-ish, which is funny, because it could be 3, it could be 4. Yeah. The question is, will we see Deebo return? We got to talk about his injury and his role in a second. Let's get to a couple of these super chat contributions really quickly, though. 49ers _ throwback. My man Fernando says Tariq Woolen against Brandon Aiyuk is going to be a show. What are your thoughts on this? Because I just don't feel like I'm not trying to say that Brandon Aiyuk is the best wide receiver in the NFL, but he seems uncoverable, because if you watch the film, he always gets open. He's always running a route and getting open. And so to me, that means you can't be covered. Now, can he complete the pass if it's thrown to him? That's a whole nother echelon of stuff, but he gets open. How do you think this matchup is going to be?
I think I love Brandon Aiyuk, but I worry about this one for sure. I think Tariq Woolen, they're saying he's the best rookie cornerback, better than Sauce even, and also better than Stingley then by association. So it's a concern. My concern with Woolen is that he's so fast. He's like a 4.2 guy. He's 6'4" and 4.2. He's so fast that he can kind of play dead and pretend like Aiyuk has some separation, or he actually does, and then he has this makeup speed where he can come back and length. He has the speed and the length to come back and affect the play or make an interception. So he's a big concern. I mean, Tariq Woolen is a hell of a rookie. So is Kenneth Walker, and they have some good linemen now too that they've drafted in 2022 as well, both tackles. Woolen might be my biggest concern of all those rookies.
Yeah, I mean, the kid has 37 tackles, 6 interceptions, and 13 pass deflections. The kid is a baller. He's definitely a baller. And now we're talking about Brock Purdy. like facing this, but Brock doesn't necessarily force throws into bad area. Like, well, he does throw in the tight windows, but he's not forcing it into bad coverages. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And I just don't think that with this speed, so you're talking speed against the person that knows the route. And so, like, when you're talking about the person that knows the route, we're talking about Brandon Aiyuk. And I think one of the things that separates Brandon Aiyuk from all the other receivers on the 49ers, let's talk about the 49ers, right? The one thing that separates him from everybody else is the fact that this man's route running is like, oh, snap. I thought Jerry Jeudy was the dope route runner, and now I'm seeing what Brandon Aiyuk is able to do. And I think it's only going to continue to get better and better. If Brandon knows that route, I know he's speedy, but it's not like Brandon Aiyuk is running straight down the line. That's a Danny Gray guy. Like that for me, like speed on speed. But I don't think he'll be able to cover. Like, listen, a lot of DBs really feel like they can cover Brandon, and I think that's the one thing that makes him the dog that he is. You know, all right, man, you think you can cover me? All right, cool. And we've played some really good DBs. I'm with my man Trey Lance. He's next great 49ers QB. He's a rookie. I'm not worried. This is a time that Brandon Aiyuk, if he can get open, it's going to be a great matchup. And I'm not saying Brandon's going to win them all, but I think Brandon has been abusing DBs this year. If we go back and watch all the film and watch some of the DBs, hasn't played a sauce, we didn't play Stingley, but he did play some top DBs in this league, and he put them on skates. So this is going to be a great matchup. Love your take on it. Tariq Woolen is a baller. Gosh darn it. My biggest concern from Seattle on defense is the secondary. Like the secondary, it's for me, it doesn't matter who they put there. Like those boys find a way to ball out, whether they're first round draft picks or 7th round draft picks, they ball out for Seattle. So I'm a little concerned about that being with our quarterback, just being new. And you said some stuff, man, him going on the road for the first time, him having to play in Lumen Field with the noise. Kyle spoke about the noise and how it's kind of like tunneled in there to stay trapped to where it just always remains loud. I think it's the second craziest loud stadium next to what? Arrowhead? I don't know the name of Kansas City Stadium, but their stadium. Arrowhead, yeah. And so that it could be something, but I feel like Brock has this innate ability to play football. I think that's the stuff, you know, the intangibles we talk about, the things you can't teach. And I think the off-schedule stuff is what we're going to fall in love with a little bit on this guy, because that is what you're probably going to need to get the victory in Seattle. I don't know if you know this answer, and if you do, I'm going to be happy because I'm going to ask you this question and you didn't know. Like, who's the last quarterback that won in Seattle for the 49ers? Do you know off the top of your?
Sure, Jimmy G in 2019.
2019. So a couple of years ago, Jimmy was able to get it done. What was the game plan in that game? Was it a bunch of like rollouts? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Run the ball. I mean, I think he only threw 5 second half passes or completions, one or the other.
So my point is that the same game plan this week?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, if possible, if we can run it. It's funny that the super fan I had on for Seattle yesterday, he said he feels like the way that Pete Carroll owns Shanahan so well, because he definitely owns Shanahan.
He owns Shanahan, bro, 100%.
And the way he does it is he tricks him into throwing the ball. You know, like we're running, we're beating him, and somehow Pete Carroll convinces him that we need to throw the ball, and that's our undoing every time. And I was like, yeah, you nailed it, man. That's exactly what we see. So Shiv Ramdas came on yesterday with me.
So the reason why I'm asking that question is because the 49ers obviously want to run the ball, right? I feel like the 49ers have 2 running backs that they're going to share the load with somewhat. Could we see some Tevin Coleman this game? Do we see TDP this game? I feel like Kyle's going with who he wants to go with, but I think there's a new guy that Kyle Shanahan can't wait to use. His name is Ray McCloud. And I remember when we signed Ray McCloud, and I was like, oh, the kid could run out of the backfield. That was something that he did in Pittsburgh, right? And I was like, this is going to be good. We haven't seen it all until last week in the Tampa Bay game. And he took the hand out of the backfield. That's going to be another wrinkle. Now, let's talk about Deebo Samuel and how his injury can be detrimental. I think it won't be. I think the 49ers have enough weapons. I think they're just as dangerous without Deebo. Well, I would say they're still dangerous, without Deebo. What are your thoughts on Deebo not playing? Like, how will the 49ers also find ways to run the ball? Because what Seattle is going to do is take away the run. So you have to be creative. So let me get your thoughts on that.
I like Ray. I like that. I like Jennings. I'm hoping we see a little more Danny Gray. He got his first catch against the Bucks. So, that speed could be helpful. No one runs like Deebo, though. I mean, nobody has that toughness. Kittle comes the closest, but Kittle just isn't quite as fast as Deebo. So, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is the closest thing we have. But Christian, while they both are great yak guys along with Kittle, McCaffrey is a much different style. He's much more going to try and juke you and make you miss, whereas Deebo is much more likely to just run you over and steal your soul. So there is that factor. It's like goes kind of beyond the statistics, beyond the attention that he pulls away from other weapons just by, maybe the best defender lining up across from him. It's just like that when he makes one of those plays, what that does for the offense, what that does for, for the energy of the team when he just crushes somebody. There's nothing like it in football. It's a domination. It's a thing. But yeah, no, I think we're still very dangerous without Deebo. I like Ray McLeod. I said the same thing in the offseason. I like, I thought that he and TDP were going to take a lot of the workload off of Deebo's plate. I thought TDP was basically a combine doppelganger of Deebo, similar size, speed, 3-cone, all those different things, 40 time. And Ray, he's great in space. He's more like Christian McCaffrey. He's more of a make you miss guy than a run you over type of guy. But he can definitely make folks miss. And Kyle's, wizard at getting people open in space. So I think he could take a lot of the sting out of missing Deebo, but definitely you can't lose one of the most dominant players in the game and not miss him. So
over under 20 carries, which is a lot. I'll reduce that number. Over or under 11 carries for Jordan Mason.
I think he had 11 against the Bucks, didn't he? 11 for.
That's why I put the number at 11.
Yeah,
because they've been going up. So I'm just curious to
11 for 80 something, right?
Yes,
or 50
sir.
something.
Yes, sir.
He had like 5.1 to carry, something like that.
5.1 to carry.
Yeah, I'll say over. Say over. I think the Bucks have a better run defense than the Seahawks do. And I think we're going to lean on our run game a little bit more against them, ideally, if all goes well. So, yeah, I think Jordan Mason gets a little more. Yeah. I guess the only thing that would keep Mason from getting a lot is if the game's really close and Kyle just keeps feeding CMC because, that's sort of the formula is feed CMC till we get a lead and then pound him into submission with Jordan Mason once we have like a domination. And so if we never establish domination, that could lessen Jordan's carries, in my opinion.
I agree. Guys, make sure you guys hit the like button. You can see the posting that as Debbie posted in the chat. Hit the like button. You already know what it does for the channel. I didn't ask. We didn't start with any formalities. We just came right into the show. You know what I'm saying? We wanted to give you great 49er content right off the bat. But can you please hit that like button? It would truly help out the show. We truly would appreciate it. Also, want to give a super chat shout out to Jacqueline Knox. She says, hey, WayneBreezie and family, Niner family. I hope you guys have an awesome day. The sun is shining, so I'm about to go out and catch some of this sun and spend some time with my son. I'm actually going to be meeting my son in a couple of hours. We're going to go out to have some breakfast or some lunch or whatever or whatnot. So I'm glad to be out here on the West Coast and going to spend some time with my oldest son. He's 21 years old. So this is going to be a great day. I could feel it. And then later on today, I'll be with John Chapman. We're doing a 49ers Rush party tonight. And that's going to be awesome. As usual, we've been doing a lot of giveaways and things like that. Let's get back to the football because here's a question, because this is what it comes down to when running the ball, the offensive line. And you, my friend, you might not know this, but you're an offensive line guru, in my opinion. Right. And so I don't know if they call you that, but that's what I'm going to call you. So I know Mike McGlinchey hasn't looked great this year. He just hasn't looked great, period. And I mean, he's even been piss poor to me. He's declined in run blocking. Now, I understand the injury and that it's severe, and I know he's playing through it, and can't nobody tell me anything different. I think Mike McGlinchey is an Iron Man. I've been calling him an Iron Man, and he's finding a way to deal with it. Let's talk about Mike McGlinchey because they want to know. Steve O knows NFL, wants to know, will Mike McGlinchey hold his own? Ted, take him away.
Only if Nwosu doesn't line up across from him. They have this defensive end that they got from the Chargers. Nwosu is his last name, Nwosu, and he's really good. He has 9 sacks. He is one of the top defensive ends, in my opinion. I mean, 9 sacks is a lot for a season, and we got 4 or 5 games left. So let's just hope that they put their rookie Boye Mafe on.
I wanted to draft him too, by the way. That he was one of my prospects.
He's a physical guy, no doubt about it. And even that concerns me. Mike McGlinchey is not good in pass protection against most guys, but
especially speed guys.
Yeah, he's do I think he'll hold his own? Yeah, like I said, I think if it's Mafe, I think he'll do all right. If it's Nwosu, I mean, we better give him help. That's the only thing we could do. To have Kittle or Juice chip and give him help with extra blocking.
One thing one thing a lot of people aren't talking about when it comes to the 49ers and their offense, since we're talking about the offensive line, let's talk a little bit about the extension of the offensive line, because you mentioned George Kittle. So he's been used a lot in chipping, and he's less utilized in the pass catching and the receiving game. But let's talk about Tyler Kroft, because Tyler Kroft to me has been a breath of fresh air and a little bit of relief for George Kittle, because in my last article for 49ers Web Zone, I wrote that, you know what? Like, Tyler Kroft is like the perfect complement piece. And I don't even know if it's a complimentary piece, because he literally can do the things George Kittle does. He might not have the speed or the aggressiveness of running, but he has the hands, and he's been tremendous when healthy and playing this season in the blocking game. And so sometimes when you see those 2 tight ends out there on the field, you don't know which one is going to get the ball. Kyle Shanahan's probably going to try to use some of that 12 personnel in this particular game. What are your thoughts about Tyler Kroft and 12 personnel in its entirety?
Yeah, I was excited when we picked him up in the offseason. I've long said that Dwelly is great at catching, arguably the best hands in the team. I mean, you could argue Dwelly has the best hands in the NFL. I don't think he's ever had a drop. But
wait. I can't let you say that and not say, you know what? Hold on. And the people that watch this show will know why I'm clapping. I promise you, Ted. I promise you, I've said that. What I said was he got the best hands on the 49ers. What you said was he has the best hands in the NFL. You know why? Because numbers don't lie. That's exactly why. Right. So I just wanted to give you your flowers for saying that, because he does. He can catch. If you throw him the ball, he's catching it. I don't know how he catches it. He just catches the ball. It just catches the ball. Ross Dwelly has really great hands. Why the hell aren't we seeing Ross Dwelly anymore then? What's going on?
The blocking. He can't block to save his life. He had the one beautiful block against AD where he came flying across from the other side of the formation and planted him. But if he's just in line blocking from the tight end position, he just gets bowled over worse than McGlinchey. So, I mean, we saw it. The most notable one I remember was against the Dolphins in 2020 when he got plowed and Jimmy got blindsided. And
that was the last time we saw Ross Dwelly, wasn't it?
It was
the last time we saw him used to the extent that we're used to seeing him. Because for a minute, you and I and every other fan thought Ross Dwelly might be the perfect complimentary piece to George Kittle, right? Like, we were like, yo, he can catch, he can run out of the backfield. When Kittle was injured and Juice got injured, he was the fullback, right? We were like, yo, Dwelly is going to be a weapon. And next thing you know what he can't do well? He can't block. No block, no rock. No, how crazy is that?
No doubt. Yeah, I mean, he does okay with a head of steam. Like I said, coming across the formation or as a fullback where he gets running first, get some momentum going, he's all right. But if his feet are planted, he has no base. He must not have enough lower body strength or weight to make a proper base. And then, Charlie Warner, great blocking tight end, not really much in the catching department, right? We got 2 half tight ends other than Croft. So Croft is a complete tight end. And as long as we're doing a Seahawks preview show, we should call out that the Seahawks have not only 2 complete tight ends, but they have 3. They have, Will Dissly. They have Colby Parkinson from Stanford. And Noah Fant, who they got in the Russ trade.
In the trade. That's right.
Yeah. So none of them are superstars, but they're all kind of like Tyler Croft. They can all catch and they can all block. And when you got 3 of them, then you have a lot of flexibility in your formations, especially when you have 2 great wide receivers like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. I saw a stat tweet this week that Tyler Lockett has 6 straight games with a TD catch. So I'm hoping we can end that streak.
Tough. That's going to be tough.
If any defense can do it, it's ours. I'd be interested to see how Jimmy Ward does against him. I know K'Wan Williams did really well against Tyler Lockett, so I'm hopeful that Jimmy Ward can too out of the slot there.
I feel like as long as, not to cut you off, but just to add to that, as long as Jimmy is not, as long as Tyler isn't running a route, far as like a route with a stop or a go or a quick, as long as Jimmy is great at the short distance stuff. So even if he catches it, Tyler Croft is not leaving the vicinity if Jimmy Ward is in there. He's going to be there for the tackle. It's when they run the routes that Jimmy gets confused on. I don't know if you peep that in the All-22 and you watch it, but that's when Jimmy gets a little confused and he looks a little bit out of place in his route coverage in the nickelback position. But please continue.
I'll take your word for it, and that makes sense for sure. And then I guess I was going to mention, I don't know if you heard who their big wide receiver number 3 is, but this one scares the you-know-what out of me because, you're going to laugh when I say his name because it wouldn't normally scare you, but Marquise Goodwin.
You have to be
No, he apparently, according to these people I talked to yesterday, he's playing great for them. And I'm like, oh, man, this is so typical for 2022. We're going to have another X-Niner come and roast us just like Pettis, just like Jet McKinnon, just like River Kraft, and, obviously Trent Sherfield. I mean, those are 4 big guys. And I felt like there was one for Carolina or Atlanta, too, who was an X-Niner who smoked us, too. So it's like, that's just so fitting if it's Marquise Goodwin.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of in Atlanta who it might have been, but it's always an ex-49er. If you go back to week 1, it was Dante Pettis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And so we have to find a way to ixnay on the ex-49ers. Like, don't get beat by Goodwin. Like, you know what I mean? Now, he didn't do well in the first matchup, but the difference, so a lot of people feel like we're going to blow this team out. And the difference between the 2 matchups is the running back. And so they didn't have Kenneth Edwards. Like, they didn't have him week 1. Now, I'm not saying that the 49ers are going to allow this kid to run like 100+ yards or whatever, but it can happen. Like, you know what I mean? And you already talked about us missing those defensive tackles. I'm glad Eric Armstead is back, but then where's the depth? Now we don't have depth. Now you're asking Eric
Armstead. T.Y. McGill now. Yeah, and I like T.Y. McGill, but yeah, we got a bunch of hybrid guys. Obviously we got Amenahum, we got Hyder, we got Willis. So we got people that can kind of play DT, but we don't have that, that load, that, big run stuffing, Will Fork, like the Seahawks have Al Woods, that's just sort of massive 350-pound, monster of a man type of player.
Wow. Real quick pause in the show. Happy birthday to Troy's grandmother. She turned 100 today. Your grandmother's a century. That is amazing. Happy birthday to your grandmother, man. Enjoy the celebration tonight. We'll definitely toast one up for her, bro. Happy birthday, grandma. Wow, 100, man. That's life, man. That's saying you lived and you still going. I love it. I love it a lot. 100 years on this earth. That's a beautiful thing, man. All right, man. We don't have much to talk about, but here much more to talk about this matchup. I do want to get some of your give me a prediction, not a score prediction. Give me a prediction that you feel like is going to happen. Like any prediction from the game that you feel like just one. Any prediction.
Niners take an early lead. Seahawks make it close at the end, and it's like a nail biter with some crazy play, penalty, safety, missed field goal, kick return, punt, fake punt. something.
So it's going to happen on special teams, is what you're saying.
I mean, it seems like it has a lot with these two teams. I mean, twice last year and week 2 we saw it. Luckily, we had a big enough lead that didn't matter week 2. But the other thing too is, I mean, when we talked about things we're worried about the game, I mean, just look at Pete Carroll against rookie QBs.
Well, okay. I mean, last week it was Tom Brady against rookie QBs. He was 6-0. He's now 6-1.
Yeah.
But coaching and playing is two different things. So I'm dying to know. Do you know the stat of Pete Carroll?
I don't know the stat. I just know that he's really, really good against rookie QBs.
Him and Bill Belichick takes rookie QBs and puts them through a machine, and I don't think they're good after that. Like they really do well against rookie QBs. You know what I think about Brock Purdy, bro? He ain't no rookie, man. Like he doesn't play like a rookie, and he's out there just doing like veteran things, getting rid of the ball. You know what? I think we're gonna see, and I know you don't want to. I think we see at least 1 or 2 design quarterback runs this week.
That's good.
I know. I hear it. I heard it. I heard the sigh. But here's why. They mentioned it in the presser about, Kyle Shanahan and stuff like that. And he said, hey, man, I didn't realize that he can move like that. You know what I'm saying? So,
no.
Yeah.
No. Don't run him up the middle, Kyle. No.
Just I said, Kyle, hey man, you can run them, just don't run up the middle. That's it. Don't run them up the middle, Kyle. Just don't run them up the middle, Kyle. Look, quarterback, read option to the right, maybe to the left, but nothing up the middle. But I feel like it's coming, bro. Like I can feel it. I can feel it coming. Listen, this is clip that Kyle Shanahan talked about, and they asked him about trusting Brock Purdy. And that's the title of the episode, because I really feel like Kyle Shanahan trusts Brock Purdy. And before we listen to the clip, I want to get your thoughts on it, right? Because why are we seeing such a upward shift in the 49ers offense? And it's not because of like the skill set of the players. Those skill sets have been there all season long. And so there has to be something different. And I want to know your thoughts. Does Kyle Shanahan trust Brock Purdy?
Yes, and especially he trusts him to run play action from under center, which Jimmy just wasn't comfortable doing. So that's the big thing. We're getting to use Juice the way he's supposed to be used, more usage, more blocking, better fit. And the addition of Christian McCaffrey has really helped the offense too. So those two things, being able to run more of Kyle's best plays, and we have great players. Like I said, I do think missing Deebo will hurt a little, but like you said, I think Ray will take a lot of the sting out of that. So Ray and Jennings, and maybe like hopefully a little Danny Gray or TDP. We'll see.
Who are you predicting to be the offensive player of the game and the defensive player of the game? Just on the 49ers side.
Yeah, I'll go with CMC on the offense, and defense. I'm going to go with Hufanga.
Ooh, I went with Hufanga last week, and I like that. I'm gonna go to a couple of different people though. I think this is going to be another week of Brock Purdy.
Good.
I just and you know what? Shout out to Jacqueline, because Jacqueline said in the Miami game we did some grades. She said I give him an A-. I'm like, you give him a what? And so I was like, nah, he's a B- for sure. Like he still has work to do. And then he played A football against Tampa Bay. And then she was like, see, I told you he was the A-. And I was like, Now I don't think it's going to be the same result from Brock, but what I want to get from Brock is this week, I think we still get that confidence. I still think we get the extended plays. I still think that the players play super well for him for some strange reason. It's like totally weird, like how they just don't really know who he is, but they know who he is, and they're just willing to go out. That's what I love about this team, and they're going to continue to make plays. If guys get open, Brock is looking to get the ball there. Hence, here comes those quarterback runs too, because I really like Seattle's secondary coverage. I'm telling you, like, guys, don't sleep on Seattle's secondary. Ted talked about Tariq Woolen, and I told you his stats. The kid has 6 INTs. That's a lot. I think that's our team's total, if I'm not mistaken. We might have one more than 6, but that's a lot. And so I will say this. I think Brock goes out and has a game where he's not just there to manage it, he wins it. I'll leave it at that. Number 2, on defense, I'm gonna ride with you again. I'm gonna say 3 weeks in a row, I'm gonna go with Talanoa Hufanga. I know he hasn't had the best games. He always has one brain fart, and then you really don't hear from him again. But this is Seattle. I know a lot of people were going to say Big Play Dre. This is a team he owns. Please go with Big Play Dre. I want him to do everything he does. But I think this is a game where Talanoa Hufanga, like you, is going to come up here. It's a division rival. Usually players play a little bit differently. So you know what? I'm not going to say Talanoa. I'm going to go with the safeties. How about can I cheat and just go with the safeties?
Absolutely.
All right. Ward and Hufanga. The connection is finally going to be back. This is what we wanted to see. I mean, I know Ward is a DB, but he does still, a nickel back. But if you watch some of these coverages, he's still back there playing safety. And I got to slide my man Gibson right up in there because he's been playing phenomenal football. And that's why they had to move Ward to the nickel back position. When you're best player on the field, you just got to show up and play a different position. And I will say that I think that Jimmy Ward, if you had to grade Jimmy Ward right now at the nickelback spot, what would your grade be for Jimmy Ward?
He was like an A+ against the Bucks. I wrote in my article, I thought it was like he was in the Bucks huddle. He knew exactly what was coming, and he was all over everything. Crazy, instincts and recognition. He was outstanding. I think Jimmy Ward got a bad rap because of having his hand wrapped, and then also because when his hand was wrapped, those were his first few games for the entire season, and so he had to work himself into game shape. I think people forget because he came back and broke his hand and then was out for a little while longer that they maybe forget that he was out every game before he broke his hand. So I think also people know that he doesn't want to play nickel, and so there's a negative stigma about him playing nickel. But he's a damn good nickel against tight ends and possession receivers. The ones that scare me are speedy receivers. So I hope they don't put Marquise Goodwin in the slot. If it's Tyler, I like Jimmy Ward against Tyler Lockett a lot better.
Yes, sir.
Than Jimmy Ward against Marquise Goodwin with that track speed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Tristan, you're 100% correct. ESPN has us ranked number 3, but we are tied with 14 interceptions. All right, 14 interceptions. I was just making a funny joke because so 14 interceptions. Like Willen doesn't have more interceptions than our whole team. We've been playing really good takeaway football. It's one of the things that makes this 49ers defense stand out from the others, as well as force fumbles and recover the fumbles. So the 49ers defense is number 1 for a reason. I was just joking around, but we are tied, I would say, with this 3 teams with 14. We're one of the 3 teams with 14. So we definitely are up there. Thank you, Tristan, for that. I appreciate you, fam. But nah, man, this is going to be a great game, bro. It's going to be, look, here we go. My bad. Like, I have no idea how to tell time once I leave the Eastern time zone. That's what it is. Damn it. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at it. It is what it is. But look, I do believe the 49ers can win this game. And I think it's going to ride on Brock. And I hate to put the pressure on a young kid, but you know what? When you're a quarterback in the NFL, it's always on you. You know what I'm saying? That's why you got to take the good, the bad, and the ugly when you're a quarterback, because it's always your fault. If you win, it's not your fault. But if you lose, it's your fault. And I think Brock Purdy has this mindset where he's tasted victory. So let's talk about that real quick before we jump off out of here. He's tasted it twice, and his back was against the wall twice. And I know he came into fill in for an injured Jimmy Garoppolo. He didn't look back. And then when the game plan was, my theory was last week, oh man, he's going to face the number 8th defense in the league. Todd Bowles is going to have that defense. I know he doesn't blitz a lot, but they're going to try to confuse Brock Purdy. And you know what? They tried, and he clearly passed the test. Now, Pete Carroll's different. He's been coaching a lot longer. He has people that he trusts a little bit more, so it's going to be different. But I just feel like Brock can supersede all expectations, man, and go out there and lead his team to another victory, man. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I worry a little bit about the Seattle pass defense. I think they're pretty good. The thing about the Bucks is they were missing both safeties. They were missing Sean Murphy Bunting, who's their corner 3, and their nickel
You did
corner
it.
got
You
injured.
you're
Their,
not
their,
right. You're
their
not
nickel
right.
their nickel corner got injured early. No, but the big one, Breezy, was Vita Vea. Went down early in
Hold
the
on.
game.
Peachy, Ted, this is Ted talking right now. Matter of fact, that should be the name of your show. This is Ted talking right now. You can ask Peachy, you can call her up, and she will say, damn, like Breezy said, oh, I didn't want to say it on the air because I didn't want to sound negative, but you are speaking facts right now. Facts. Please continue.
Well, people got after me for saying that Jimmy played, beat up defenses, and Brock has too. It's fine. It's not saying, and I'm not saying we didn't win the game. I'm not saying that he didn't play well. You can only play who's in front of you. Brock played great. It's just the team in front of us. You threw out like 8 or 10 or whatever their defense is. That was not the defense we faced on Sunday. So, in my opinion, I think they were quite a bit lower with, missing both safeties, Murphy Bunting, their nickel corner. But the big one, like I said, Vita Vea is one of the best defensive tackles in the game. I was really worried about him and Akeem Hicks. And with Vita Vea out, we were able to tire out Akeem Hicks. And so, Vita Vea is going to stuff a lot of runs when we ran the ball really well against them. And he's good in the pass game too. So he's arguably the best defensive tackle in football, or, top 3, you could easily argue. So.
All right, here we go. Here's the news. Nick Wagner reported if 49ers beat the Seahawks and clinch the NFC West division on Thursday night, it will be the earliest they've clinched the division since 2011. This is Wind Back Wednesday, even though I'm not doing the typical Kahoot challenge where we give away some stuff. They do some trivia on the Seahawks. I'm away. I had time to create that, right? But give me a wind back moment from the great Ted from 2011.
Well, it was the last time we swept the Seattle Seahawks. So, yeah. That's
how dope was that? Like, perfect setup, perfect time. Ted.
That's why you're the master, Breezy.
No. You it was like an alley-oop and you just slam dunked it, bro. That's it. I'm the assist king, man. You go for the dunks, bro. I ain't got the hops no more, man. But seriously,
I never had them, so.
But that's what makes this game so important. And that's why I feel like Kyle Shanahan says, hey, guys, listen, let's just win today. We win today, we could find ways to rest later, right? You know what I'm saying? You win today. It doesn't mean that you are going to be the top slot in the NFC, right? Because no one's catching Philly. You do have the opportunity to go to get to the number 2 spot, but this also gives time for your guys that are injured to rest and heal up, and you don't have to rush them back. I think that's where I'm going with this. Because if we win today, we clinch, we're automatically in. The question is now, where are we going to be placed? And I feel like Deebo won't have to rush back. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to play against the Washington Commanders and the Raiders. If we already clinched, all we looking now is for placement. And I think, honestly, the 49ers don't give a care where they place. They just need to be in. What are your thoughts about that?
I mean, it would be nice to have 2 home games instead of 1.
True, because I'm trying to go. Yep,
traveling in January is rough, but we've done it well. For me, I'm all about just being hot and healthy, more than what our seeding is. That's always the question, is sort of like, do you rest or do you press for that top spot, or not top spot, but for the number 2 spot?
Hey, save that for a title for your show, bro. Rest or press. I like that.
And so, and for me, like, winning isn't a light switch. It's not something that you can just turn off and then flip it back on. I mean, you can definitely turn it off, but a lot of times you go to flip the switch back on and the lights don't come back on and you keep losing. So all things equal, I think you keep pressing, you keep, maybe you rest some of the starters, but, or maybe you just don't play them quite as much, but not a complete rest, like still at least a little bit of action in every game to keep them fresh and ready to go, so that you don't have a big letdown when you get to the playoffs and be rusty. That would be my concern.
Yeah, and I agree with it. I don't think the players would even the players that are healthy, the players that are playing, no one's healthy anymore. It's week 15, but the players that are playing, I guarantee you they're going to want to continue to play because they feel like, hey, let's keep this going. Like let's not let up now. Like, you know what I'm saying? And they also want the other teams in the league and they want the NFL to know that we mean business. I see my man Kylie out there says, do we catch Minnesota? There's a possibility. There's a strong possibility. The 49ers got to keep winning and just have some luck on their side. And I think that's their mindset. That's their goal, right? Let's just win. We win, and then whatever happens, happens. But if we win, we're writing our own script to the story. I'm with you. I want the home games. I want them until we have to play like a Philly, but Philly can get eliminated in that second round of the playoffs. And guess what? It goes through Levi Stadium. So there's so many different scenarios that can happen. And I think it starts tomorrow night. Ted, it's been super real, man. Before you jump off, Ted, because I'm about to sign out too. I think my son is downstairs. I want you to let everybody know where they can find you, when you can go live, and how they can support you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on all the time. I have a weekly show with Aaron Labigan. We're calling it, he's from 49ers First Takes, and we're calling it First and Ted. It's every Wednesday at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern. TED Talks Ball with spaces on YouTube, and then TED_Talks_Ball on Instagram, but mostly Twitter at TEDH6. You guys know me as the receipts guy, the gotcha guy. Just want everybody to know that when I do my shows and my articles, that's not my persona. I'm a little more even keeled and a little bit more reasonable and not so hardcore.
Don't give away the secret, Ted.
Well, I don't want people to feel like they're going to come on my show and I'm going to like pull clips later to gotcha them.
No, you are the receipts guy. Always pull the clips. Pull my clips. Get the receipts out. That's what you're about. That's what you do.
But your clips are all good. So yeah, I'll do that for sure.
Hey man, listen, and that's the one thing I love about you, because you have, I don't know where you store the receipts, but you have receipts. And I'm not talking about for us. I'm talking about all the way around the NFL. Like, you're waiting, and I know that you got them locked and loaded. And I think that's one of the things that makes you great. You're a great guy all the way around. But bro, keep that. That's your niche. No one's doing it. That's your lane. Keep it going, man, and keep building your brand and your empire, bro. And I love everything that you're doing, man.
I'll always do it. I have a little bit less time now that I'm doing content creation. It's definitely takes a lot of time to do this, and it's worth it. It's great. It's really rewarding. So thank you for your help, and I just want to thank all the content creators that have been so helpful getting me off the ground. It's been really outstanding.
And that you said it's rewarding and it's great. And the reason why we do it, Ted, is because of the community. I think the reciprocation for them having great days, them having great times, them tuning into the show, that's what makes us want to continue to go further and further, and just push for them. Before you jump off, I got one more question. Which quarterback throws for more touchdowns, Geno Smith or Brock Purdy?
Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith is the better quarterback. I'll be honest. I was on with one of those Seahawks fans yesterday, and he said he thinks the Seahawks have the better quarterback and we have the better team. He said, "What's the difference between that and 2019?" And I was like, God, that's crazy. I mean, I think we have better weapons now is the biggest difference. But Geno Smith has had a hell of a season. I'm not going to discount anything from him. Brock Purdy, he's off to a great start. He could be better at some point, but I need to see more before I would actually say that. 2 games at home isn't enough for me yet. Call me, I'm positive and upbeat, but I also like to think I'm a realist too. So.
Hey man, ain't nothing wrong being a realist in this world, bro. And it is what it is. Ted says he hasn't seen enough of Brock, so he's gonna go with the guy with the most experience. Geno Smith is having probably the best career year of his life, right? And he's playing really good football. Didn't play well against us week 2. I don't expect him to play well against us week 1. You know why? The defense is better week 15 than it was week 2.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with that. But Ted, it's been real, man. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for jumping on, bro.
Thanks, Breezy. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to chop it up again with you soon on TED Talks Ball.
Let's do it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Ted H. Guys, that's been a real show. Now, before we go, I know some of you asked me, where am I going to be tonight? Bam! That's it right there. Kel's Irish Pub tonight. They better have good chicken wings. If Kel's is watching, the chicken wings better be on point. I'm looking for lemon pepper. I don't know if y'all do lemon pepper there at Kel's, but make sure you go get some lemon pepper seasoning because I'm coming to taste the lemon pepper wings tonight. This is where we're going to be, man. Tons of giveaways. 49ers Rush podcast. John Chapman's going to be in the building. I'm going to be in the building. It's going to be a great time tonight. And then tomorrow, if you didn't get your tickets and stuff, Tony T's Sports Lounge, we're going to be here. Look, it's all freaking day long. I know many people are going to be at work. All right. And then we're going to head on over to the field. So from 1 to 4, we'll be at Tony T's Lounge. And then kickoff is at 5:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to head on over to the field. It's right there. All right, man. It's going to be a great time. If you need tickets, go to 49ersrushroadtrip.com. Shout out to everybody, man. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Thank you to all the super chats. And we have one more super chat. I was going to post your joint. And Coach Cruz says, first shot is on me. I'll see you there. I love you, Coach Cruz. Man, it's going to be real. I'll see you in a little bit. How about that? I'll see you in a little bit. Guys, it's been real. Stay up, stay faithful. I got 49ers winning this game. I will work to get the score prediction out on Facebook now. That way I don't forget like I forgot last week. So be ready for that. Shout out to everybody that participated last week. And we do have a winner. We'll definitely be reaching out. And this week, I think we'll do closest score again. I got to ask Miss Debbie what she thinks, man. It's been real. Stay up, stay faithful. Always keep it nitty gritty. Thanks for watching. Peace.